Okay, well, let me start our formal practice so that we can share it with those who could not rouse themselves or limit their distractions. Uh, Really acknowledge how challenging it is initially, right? You know, those of us um, who have been committed to and determined to continue to carve out this time and space and to prioritize this practice find that it gets easier, right? I think it's like anything else that, once we start to recognize that that is the way that humans are, and we are humans, we really resist what we're not sure yet might be wholly beneficial or necessary change. Because there's so much change that comes our way that we don't have any influence over. We're just talking about the changing leaves, the changing season, our changing leaves, our changing season, right? Um, I don't know if everyone is seeing that so clearly as um, those of us who are seeing our hair turn a different color and but it's, there is this natural progression, this change, this inevitability of change. And so when it comes to, well, really, should I like set an alarm and get up and log in at this exact time, or should I just like enjoy the freedom of letting the elements sort of carry me? So in yoga, we work with this balance between forces, the life force, we call it prana, the force within, and then they're called the gunas. It's kind of a cool word, and I have a course that I teach for teacher training, and I have a little slide where I have the three fairy godmothers from Cinderella. So the three gunas. They're sort of these magical forces that all bestow upon us this quality of experience. And the gunas are not, they're for us. They're part of our experience. They're, to contribute to our actualization. And they are the slower, more steady part of our experience. So some of us like that, some of us don't like that, and to a fault, it can be like sticky and stubborn and even dark and depressing, but to our benefit, it allows us to enjoy some relative consistency where there's all this change, like to a great benefit. This quality can help us to sustain, practices and relationships and the integrity of our self over time, and can be quite enjoyable. There's another quality that is change itself, like movement and inspiration. Sometimes it's equated with the wind, like things are moving, things are moving, things are moving. And these are qualities, these gunas, these fairy godmothers, they exist around us and within us. So some of us have a lot of wind in our systems where we feel a lot of, like kind of the blowing of awareness or attention, or maybe even like a fidgetiness or agitation in our bodies. When I have yoga students in the studio, it's relatively easy for me to see what kind of constitution people have because of the way that they present themselves physically. Like this is, more windy person perhaps, and this is a more earthy person. And then of course there's light. There's light. So let's use that light or luminous quality, this like bestowing, the fairy godmother bestowing upon us with our embodiment, just because we're human and because we live here on this planet. Like we have access to this energy, both within and around us, even when we can't see it. We've just been talking about, we've had a very long stretch, 5 weeks now of 95% rainy days in Anchorage. And so, sometimes we might start to wonder, is the sun even out there? Like behind the clouds? So similarly, inside, we might sometimes wonder, is the light even in there? I can't see. Maybe I'm feeling doubtful. I had a moment over the weekend where I had a pretty strong arising feeling of doubt. I said, oh. So what we do with these practices is we practice recognizing. So there's this part of my consciousness that said, oh, look, there's doubt. I haven't seen doubt for a while. Hey, doubt. What? Oh, you're here. Oh, that's interesting. There's a really wonderful children's movie called Inside Out. If you haven't seen it, it's really delightful. It's there's a little girl and she's the main character in the story, and the other characters are the main emotions that exist in behind the scenes in her experience, and the story kind of goes back and forth between the narrative of her experience and what's going on in her mind and heart, with joy and anger and sadness. Like it's actually really well done. They consulted with neuroscientists and psychologists, and they really do a good job. They really got it right in terms of how the emotions like doubt play into our experience. So like, oh, okay, doubt's got the mic. Doubt isn't sure that the sun is back there. Well, consciousness is here to remind us that we just need to, if we're here live together, we can look at the screen and we can see that one of our live participants has the sun shining right on her face. And so the sun must be here. She's here live. So it must just be that the angle that I'm positioned in here is the one that doesn't allow me to see the sun directly. But this luminous quality, again, it's around us and it's within us. We can trust and we can continue to anchor, return attention to. And you might remember too that we have a practice that's called appreciative joy or sympathetic joy. It's joy that can arise from acknowledgement of and tapping into our interconnectedness and knowing that the sun is shining somewhere and bringing that life and light, and that there's just as much value, maybe we're willing to consider there's just as much value in the other perspectives, maybe even in doubt. So let's, with that potential to acknowledge both, yes, the sun and the light is out there shining on someone, and it is here within me. And you might start to kind of like, well, where? What pocket did I put it in? You might just start to, as we bring the attention back to the beginning, to the foundation of mindfulness. The first foundation of mindfulness is mindfulness of the body. You might just start to wonder, well, where in me do I have even maybe some small, maybe it's big and obvious, but maybe it's more subtle, a sense of light, a sense of warmth, maybe spaciousness, love, even. See what of those descriptors, or maybe ones you have yourself to anchor to practice, you can use to help you identify where in this body is there more light. And as you move your consciousness through, you might find that there's also another magical quality or two. And to see if your consciousness is willing to just very lightly, maybe as if a little fairy godmother might, like with a wand, just kind of touch, like, oh, there's a bit of doubt, there's a bit of, but keep coming to and allowing with your breath now this place, or maybe places in your body where you feel this luminous quality. And let it start to spread or grow. Maybe you found it in more than one place, and you can expand from those two places so that they meet in the middle. Maybe it's from one central or outlying location that with each inhalation, notice the inhalation has a naturally expansive quality. Just a bit like the tide, even the rising tide, there are waves, right? So it expands and recedes a little bit with the exhale, but then expands again, maybe comes up a little higher, expands a little further. Let's practice with this wave-like movement, this expansive quality of breath for the next minute or so. And then even recognizing again our interconnectedness. See if you can both have a sense of the light, the warmth, the life giving, life affirming, luminous qualities that are coming to you from us. See if you can encourage a receptivity. So feel that appreciative joy, that light coming from these friends. And then extending it back to us also, sending it out. All of the flowers will turn their faces towards you as you shine like the sun. So enjoy as you do the beauty that surrounds you. And know that when it gets cloudier, that this too is temporary. And that your body and your breath, again, first foundation of mindfulness, are persistent and here with you. So begin again, begin again, begin again. On behalf of all beings, all flowers that are blooming, because you are shining. Thank you for your practice. I hope you have a really delightful Monday. and finish off August strong and sweet. And I'll look forward to seeing you next time. We are so fortunate. Next Monday for the morning meditation, if not before. Okay. Namaste.